And former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot is threatening Border Patrol official Greg Bovino after he suggested for a second time that immigration officials will remain in the Windy City for years. Lightfoot writing on X, glory hound Bovino cannot resist acting a fool in the third largest media market. The actions of the CBP and militia under his command have been unconstitutional, shameful. Hey, Greg, your day of reckoning is fast approaching. Here to discuss this is Texas Congressman Chip Roy, who wants to be the next Attorney General of Texas. I think the former mayor is now a teacher at Michigan, Harvard, and the Chan School. Does she have the power to come down on Greg Bovino, Congressman?
Well, Brian, great to be on. I mean, look, this whole thing is absurd, right? I mean, the good news is we don't have to worry about the title governor ever being attributed to Eric Swalwell. Even Californians aren't stupid enough to accept somebody as governor who is a lawyer who doesn't understand the supremacy clause and the ability for federal officials to come in and enforce federal immigration law. This is pretty common sense. And by the way, the vast majority of the American people support what President Trump, what Tom Homan, Stephen Miller, Kristi Noem, the great leadership at ICE, Border Patrol, what they're doing to secure the nation, stop the flow of people into the country, but importantly with ICE, remove bad actors. 70% of the people that have been removed have criminal records beyond the already criminality of having come into the United States. What we're seeing out of Swalwell in Chicago, this is a direct affront and an assault on the people that sign up to defend you and me, Brian. They want to take the driver's license away from the guy who wants to protect us against the people who are fraudulently getting driver's license when they come here illegally. It's insane. The average American believes that what's happening is good and what the president's doing, and they see Swalwell and they see the Chicago mayor and these radical Marxists and leftists who want Somalis carrying out fraud, and they want illegals running around the country endangering us, and I think the gig is up, and the president is right, and so is the great so are the great men and women at ICE.
So California is delaying revoking the commercial driver's license on illegals, on foreigners. They say they're going to evaluate the situation. There's about 17,000 that can't read street signs, can't read road signs. We've seen some of the fatalities. We've seen the dangers. What's the delay here? Could you educate me on this?
Yeah, well, I mean, first of all, I mean, the federal government and the president's administration is right to be pressing into this. We have states that are taking away these commercial driver's licenses, and we need to do that. But look, all of this, and I think this is really important, Brian, on the broader point, all of this is a coordinated effort. You know, you see what's happening here with the Minnesota fraud, and you had that in the segment before. It's related to this. Right? They don't want ICE to enforce the law because ICE will go uncover people who are here illegally. But in addition, all of the people who are here legally under things like diversity visas and all these crazy systems that have been pumping people into our country under Biden and Mayorkas, abusing the system, and now doling out billions of dollars of fraud. Right. ICE is one of the key investigative agencies that tracks this stuff down. They don't want that to occur. And they don't want to have enforcement. They don't want to have states stepping up and saying, wait a minute, we're not going to give you a commercial driver's license when you're here and you're endangering the American people. So they want to keep up the pretense, try to navigate through the next few years. And here's the thing, Brian, if they get power again, then they're going to flood the country with more people and dole out more fraud to undermine the system. That's why the president has to be supported by Congress when we get back in January.
And that's why you have to do comprehensive immigration reform, I think, to put this into law, everything that you guys did. Congressman, you're such an effective congressman in Texas, but I know you want to stay home as Attorney General. Thanks so much, but finish strong. I know there's a lot to do this year.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.